Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Neil Haley Show. You can check me out on Twitter at Total Tutor, Neil S. Haley Facebook, LinkedIn Neil Haley, Instagram Total Tutor, Pinterest Neil Haley, Google Plus, and also on Periscope at Total Tutor. Where else? NeilHaley.com, right, Peter? And my co-host Peter Elvidge, who runs all my social media and a lot of different things. Your titles are video production, everything. Peter, thanks for co-hosting with me for this half hour. How are you?
No problem, man. I'm excited to learn about awesome guests, to check out some new people. So let's get right into it.
So our guests are former athletes, Brian and Diane Schwartz. And we're going to talk about a topic. More than 30,000 families signed Save Filtering petition asking Disney to end dispute with VidAngel. It puts parents and consumers first, so I'm going to welcome the program. They can tell me more about this. Are you guys on the line?
Yes, this is Brian, and I've got Diane here as well. You want me to put her on speaker?
Yeah. Put Diane on speaker. That's fantastic. Okay. No problem. Yeah.
All right. So this is Diane and Brian. Here we are. Good
to
talk to you.
Hey, great talking to you too. Brian, let's talk about first your athletic background. Brian, you played in the NFL, so tell a little bit of your background, then we'll get Diane's background, then we'll get into the topic for today.
Yeah, I had the privilege. I got drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars back in 1995 in the second round, and had the fortune of playing 5 years with them, and enjoyed a great career at middle linebacker. Had a wonderful experience.
And Diane, your athletic background?
So I was raised by a college basketball coach and athletic director. So I was kind of brought up with the basketball in my hand and volleyball and any sport that they could throw at me. And I was recruited for both basketball and volleyball in college. Played 2 years of both and ended up in my career with I just finished my last 2 years of volleyball and was an All-American middle blocker. So, yeah, that's how Brian and I met. We met around sports. He won our first date by finally beating me at horse on basketball. It took about 3 months.
Did you guys meet in college?
Yeah, he was the first person I met on campus. Yeah, we met in college.
What college? I don't think you mentioned. What's college, Diane?
It's Augustana University in South Dakota. We were both born and raised there.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Brian, that history of South Dakota and stuff, to be one of those NFL players, that puts you on the map too, right? Being from South Dakota and playing in the NFL.
Yeah, South Dakota hasn't been the biggest mecca for football players, and ended up at a small college and had the fortune of having the favor with one of the scouts who represented several teams. And of course, from that, we had one guy from our college 2 years before that had gotten drafted, but I was the first guy to get drafted that high. And since then, there's been a few guys from South Dakota that's gotten noticed.
And what about North Dakota State and the quarterback now? Oh my gosh! So Brian, you're feeling happy just because you're right next to each other in the States to see someone like that and what he's doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing to see what he's come in to do. His composure is outstanding, and they've got some great coaches there. Actually, when we were at Augustana College, North Dakota State was a Division II school, and they were in our conference, the North Central Conference. So we always battled against North Dakota State, and it's pretty cool to see a guy like that come right in and not just play well, but actually control the entire game from the offensive side. He's doing stuff that a lot of veterans I've played with couldn't even do.
That's wild, for sure. Okay, so the topic, Diane, why come out and speak about this topic? Explain this and educate this to me. Again, seeing the press release, having Brian, former NFL player, it's very easy to get on the line, but now this seems like something that really upsets you that you wanted to talk about, right?
Yes, with the filtering.
Yes.
We did not set out to overachieve with the number of children we were having, but we ended up having 7. And
oh, you have 7. Awesome.
Yeah. I know. So we have 7 kids. And over the years, we've just become pretty specific about what kind of media we put in front of them because it's just changed. I have a 20-year-old down to a just turned 8-year-old. And so in the 20 years that we've been parenting, the things that they're exposed to has changed dramatically over those 20 years. And so we've had to be very discerning in what what we allow into our home, what we allow on the screens that are in front of them, whether it be the computer or the TV and the frustrating part for us as parents was that a lot of the entertainment was just, there was a lot of things that we wanted them to watch, even historically. It started with 42. We wanted them to watch it. We were, at the time, Brian and I were chaplains for the Colorado Rockies. So we were ministering to the players, their wives, their girlfriends, the front office, the general managers, the whole team, and kind of fell in love with baseball, and because we got to know their families so well. And we wanted our kids to watch this movie, but we knew that the language was stuff that we didn't want to expose our younger children to. And so we started trying to find an option to be able to watch really good quality entertainment, but also not expose our kids to things that we didn't think was age appropriate. So that's where we stumbled upon VidAngel. And it really, in the 2 years that we had been using it, we loved it. Our kids, movie night, and Brian and I as parents were able to watch things that we actually enjoyed sitting down and watching. We weren't having to grit and bear it through some of these films.
That's great.
It was like kids entertainment and then normal entertainment. It really was. It became a unifying thing for our family because we were able to sit down, watch films, and our consciences were still.
I love that. Yeah, I've never heard of that. So, Brian, I want to say I have 5 kids of my own, and so we're a family of 7. And I struggle with some of the shows that are on television too, and I fight it all the time when sometimes Nickelodeon's on or Disney's on, and my younger kids are watching, and I'm like, I don't know about this show. So, Brian, tell me how you guys found out about VidAngel, and now what's happening with this whole dispute with Disney.
So we, like Diane was saying, we kind of stumbled on. I was looking around. I wanted to be able to watch one of the series I wanted to watch was the Rocky series with my 4 boys. I wanted them to see a little Sylvester Stallone, and we came across it. I just like there's some mature content.
There is
shows that I just wasn't comfortable with, and found VidAngel. Started streaming and loved the concept and the purchase model, and it was not only affordable, it was not just reasonable, it was incredible. $1 for a standard definition, $2 for an HD stream movie. You can't find that anywhere.
No.
And once you purchase it, you then have the option to go in and filter the content. You can go to the language option and you can filter out whatever you want: violence, mature content, nudity. And so I was able to go through, filter all these out, enjoy the whole Rocky series with my boys, and imitated Rocky here and there with these guys. We had some fun with it. So we loved it from that standpoint, and then from there, have a buddy that I linked up and got to understand a little bit what's going on with the lawsuit that's happening right now.
And honestly, it was really like more panic with my kids going, is movie night going to be gone? Are we going to have to kind of go back to cartoons? Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah, I want to hear about that dispute. We'll definitely get to that. My co-host, I think, has a question. Peter, do you have a question about VidAngel and specifically the family and stuff?
And I'm looking for a little bit more clarification on the services. Is there like an online service you go to, and then you could go and choose different types of shows and media to view?
That was one of the things that pulled us on VidAngel, because we were going to have to go get another, almost like a DVD player or a lot of the filtering things. So for us, we were like, oh, this is. Before we got Apple TV, it was an app, and we just pulled the app up and with what's the cord called, honey? That we would plug it into the TV.
Yeah, it was the HDMI. So we were able to plug in our devices to the TV using the VidAngel app. But it is a streaming service, so just be like going to iTunes or anything like that. You actually purchase the content. It's live streaming. But you get to choose the filtering, obviously, before you watch the movie, what you want to save as the filters.
Gotcha.
Now, okay, so tell us about the dispute, Diane. Now the dispute's the big thing. You found out from your buddy that there's something going on, right?
Yes, so we had actually recommended VidAngel to him. They have 4 children, and we had just talked about it, and he tried it out. So he actually knew before we that there was going to be a lawsuit that could possibly shut down the options of us using VidAngel and filtering other filtering services like it. So once we found out, we just asked him, like, what can we do? What can we do practically besides just watch us binge on as many movies as we can before this might possibly go away. And so that's why we started just trying to start an email.
Local grassroots campaign. We got a website up and going, an opportunity for people to sign a petition. The Family Movie Act that was passed several years ago gives you the ability to actually filter. And our whole thing is not calling anybody a big monster or bad. We just want them to end the dispute, even if that meant doing a licensing deal that required us to pay a little bit more for the entertainment.
Yes.
We just want to be able to filter the content still, and like Diane was sharing, be able to really steward our kids and teach them and empower them to make the right decisions while at the same time protecting them.
So, Brian,
we realized how many people that we knew did not know anything about VidAngel or even having the ability to filter. And so so many people and their families just completely skip out on a whole area of entertainment.
I mean,
like, that movie, we're not going to be able to watch that movie. And so to us, it was like, we're bringing not just more customers to VidAngel, but really Hollywood, the entertainment industry. And we're saying this is important. And so many, even my teenage girls, they would talk to their friends and their parents, they'd be like, this is an option. This is awesome. We didn't know about it. And so we realized that we feel so strongly about it that we wanted to get the word out as much as we could. And then hopefully that would help the
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I'm hoping so because I'm interested in this. So, Brian, is it still available? I know Disney's going after it with a dispute and a lawsuit. It's VidAngel still available for families, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, VidAngel, you can pop on there and purchase your films, and they've got a really nice model where you actually purchase the film and then you sell it right back. And that, because you're a consumer, we want to make the consumers aware that they have the right to purchase. And once you purchase, our thought is we can do what we want with what we purchase. And if that means filtering the movie, to have that ability, we want to be able to do that. So we want to make people aware that, first of all, there is a right to do this as a consumer. And then once people try it, they're like, it changes how they view the whole entertainment world, because you're not scrambling to hit pause buttons or mute buttons. You can actually just sit through a movie and enjoy it.
I wish that's available for television as well. That should be something they should think about, right?
They
do stream some TV series. So if you look on there now, they actually have some TV series. Obviously, it's not the live stuff that you see, but any series, they've got a bunch of them on there. They filter those as well.
Yeah.
Oh, well, but hopefully at one point we can filter all that stuff, because I know you guys see Disney at times, and some of the Disney shows are not the appropriate thing for kids. And remember the days of 8.
And I think that's kind of misleading. Yeah, to a lot of families, you kind of get caught. You're halfway through a film going, Disney maybe doesn't mean what it used to mean when we were growing up.
It doesn't.
When my older children were younger. And all of a sudden you get kind of stuck where it's either, okay, this movie time is over, or we've had to leave theaters. And so truly, like, it really has been just a blessing to our family, and we're hoping to get the word out as much as we can.
Okay, so again, to find information on the website and stuff, Brian, where can we go?
You can go to savefiltering.com.
Okay, savefiltering.com. Brian, and Diane, do you guys have social media for your stuff? You're co-founders of Family Goals, so is there social media to connect with both of you guys?
Yeah, there's you can check out on Facebook Family Goals. That's under there, and I've got a personal Twitter, Brian Schwartz 58, that can also be linked up with.
Yeah, right now we're really just focusing on the safe filtering. Our kids, this is kind of everybody's hands-on. We have a couple kids that are helping us with some of the content, and getting the word out. They seem to be a little bit more media savvy than we are, so we're trying to catch up with them.
Well, I'm hoping that we can connect and talk about family goals at one point in time as well. I love having former athletes on the show that really are looking at family first, knowing the garbage that's out there and knowing that, but we don't want to filter them from all the great pop culture. If we can get rid of the stuff that we really don't want them to see, that's the best thing, honestly. So you guys are doing great things, and it's great that you're helping out VidAngel, and I look forward to hearing more about what you guys do in your non-profits too. So I'll reach out to your team, and we'll have you on for that sometime as well. So thanks again for calling. And we are going to, I think we do have our guest on the line. We're back to the Neil Haley Show. Always craziness. Do we have Gary Marlin Susan on the line?
Hi, how are you?
Awesome. So excited to welcome the program. And I'm with my co-host Peter Elvidge, and it's the Neil Haley Show with the from the Ground Zero Museum Workshop, Gary Marlin Susan. You are the official photographer for Ground Zero, and we have you on again, Gary, a couple weeks later after 9/11 because your museum's tremendous. We've written about it, great articles. My wife and family have gone there. It's so kid-friendly. But we need our listeners and viewers' help, don't we, Gary?
Yeah, we do. Our tiny little nonprofit museum in the Meatpacking District that educates children in a very tasteful and non-graphic way about 9/11 and what Ground Zero was like. We need some financial help in order to keep the museum open.
Yeah, and the struggle is because of just location, or what would you say the reason?
Won a lot of awards in travel. We've won TripAdvisor's Hall of Fame award for being a 5-star rated tour, and with the advent of the 9/11 Memorial opening at Ground Zero, it's very similar to Barnes and Noble versus the little bookstore on the corner. And so with all the money that they have been able to spend on advertising and Google and all that, there's less visibility for our tiny museum. And so we really believe in our mission, and parents have been very pleased with the non-graphic way in which we are able to educate their children about 9/11. And so we feel very passionate about keeping the museum open.
Now, Peter, as you've done some videos for Gary and stuff like that, Peter, do you have a question for Gary about the museum and stuff?
I do. So this is an interesting question. I don't know, I guess, how much experience you might have in it, but so for like the tours and for like educating either students or, older people who want to get educated about 9/11 who are blind and visually impaired, how are you guys compensating for that, or how are you compensating for that?
Well, I mean, we do have the entire script printed out. Obviously, for the hearing impaired can read the script. Every artifact and image in the museum has a description, and they are handed a packet. And for the visually impaired, we have a incredible audio tour.
Yes.
With Bose headsets presented in Dolby surround sound, so they can hear not just the description behind each image and artifact, but we also have programmed real sound effects on some of the stories in the background. So it's a pretty incredible opportunity.
It's definitely incredible. Hey, go, Peter.
Oh, I just had a rather curious question extending from that. Is that the audio tours, are they available online or specifically at the museum?
Right now, just at the museum. However, we did upload to our website at groundzeromuseumworkshop.org. We do have 4 audio stories with the corresponding image, so people can get an idea of what it's like to take the tour.
Yeah, definitely. Now, so I'm going to describe some things because I got knocked by my wife and Jill about my explanation that I'm not a good interviewer, so I'm putting myself on the spot. When the camera's on, Gary, I talk about how awesome this is. The thing that I could say, my daughter who has, I believe, ADHD, she was a holy terror in New York City. She's 7 years old. I mean, we had craziness. We got to this museum, and once she started to listen and go to each one of the artifacts, she didn't say a word. She was totally engaged. We didn't have to redirect her one time. I mean, one time we didn't have to redirect her, and she was interested, asked questions, didn't chit chat. It was just an absolute experience. So if you're in the New York City area and you have a child with special needs, this is the museum to go to. This one is one that they're going to be engaged, they're going to pay attention, they're going to learn, and it's going to be safe. And this half hour on the television show, we're talking about safety and not exposing our children to things that they don't need to see yet, Gary. And Gary, that's the next question, is about safety. About certain 9/11 type places are too graphic for children, correct?
Yeah, it is. See, we take a backdoor approach to educating about 9/11. The knee-jerk reaction when you say to a parent, "I want to bring my kid," you should bring your kid to our museum as well. I really don't want my son or daughter seeing planes flying into towers or jihadists and any of that. That's what they do at the 9/11 Memorial downtown. That's not what we do up in the Meatpacking District at our museum. We focus on the recovery period, which was the 9-month dig that happened after 9/11 and after media was kicked out of Ground Zero. We show what life was like. There's nothing graphic, nothing harrowing. Instead, the kids get to listen to stories behind artifacts and tasteful images, and then that gets the child asking questions. You don't always have to force feed things to children. If you take a backdoor approach and show them the bravery and the patriotism that happened after this terrible tragedy, you can actually teach more that way than showing them footage, which between you and me, they can see that horrible stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
So when we first opened the Ground Zero Museum Workshop, we did not know that it was a kid-friendly museum. We weren't trying to spin it like that.
Yeah.
I always assumed that kids wouldn't be interested. So I was really shocked over the course of the first couple of years. We've probably had 3 or 4 autistic children in there, and their parents are like, "I don't know how your museum is holding the attention of my son or daughter," and that's an autistic kid.
Yeah.
The regular kids who are not autistic, they eat up all the stories. They're intellectual. They ask questions. They want to hold pieces of glass from the tower. They want to hold the steel. And the parents come up to me and they say, "I've never seen anything like this. My kid came here wanting to do all this fun stuff and eat ice cream and cheeseburgers, and I told them about this museum, and they rolled their eyes. But by the end of the tour, they were the last to want to leave. The kids wanted to listen to every single story."
Another question for Gary.
So I from the standpoint of, because I've just been trying to learn more about it myself. Well, I mean, besides, what I found out, I'm always digging into and learning new things. But from my standpoint, being in Minnesota, how can I, view more content remotely, I guess, if I don't live in the immediate area? That's
a great point.
Well, you can actually look at the entire image collection on groundzeromuseumworkshop.org. That's our website, groundzeromuseumworkshop.org. Click on Image Gallery, and you can see hundreds of my images. I was the official photographer of Ground Zero that I've uploaded along with descriptions of each image. So it's not as great as the museum experience, but if you can't get into Manhattan, and you want to see some of the incredible stories or read about them, they are on groundzeromuseumworkshop.org.
I came up with an idea. We're going to raise money for sure by going to groundzeromuseumworkshop.org. But I got one other thing for you, and you're going to love this, Gary. You know how Jill did did a live remote with Field Trip Zoom? I think you need to partner with them, and that classrooms could come right into your museum physically through Field Trips Zoom. I'm going to make sure.
We are in talks with them.
Are you?
They actually visited
Good.
us.
Awesome. Great. I hope this works out for you.
And they thought it would be a good partnership to be able to do some live tours to bring, the images and the artifacts to classrooms around the country. So we are exploring that right now with Field Trip Zoom.
Oh, great. I didn't have to talk about it, so you're already on it. I'll have more people to connect you with. We can follow you also, Gary, on your Twitter account as well, right? And your website?
Yeah, on Twitter, we're at 9/11 Museum. And on Instagram, we're at Ground Zero Museum Workshop. And if someone wants to support the museum financially, we also have our new web store, which is groundzeromuseumstore.org, and they can purchase very tasteful, beautiful merchandise, some of it autographed, and it goes to support, to pay for our rent and our docents who help run the museum.
All right. Well, thanks for calling. Appreciate you coming on the show, and people need to definitely help Gary out. It's a phenomenal museum. That's a great point that Peter talked about. People need remote to see how amazing it is. And when you're in New York City, the first place you need to go is to the Ground Zero Museum Workshop, then go to Ground Zero. Don't first go there, learn the stories, get educated, then head over to the memorial. Great talking to you, Gary. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Take care. All right. That was the Neil Haley Show, guys. And for other people, we'll be live in about 2 minutes. Take care, everyone.
Visit the Oliver Miller Homestead, an 18th century reenactment site located just off the Circle on Corrigan Drive in South Park. Self-guided tours are available each Sunday from May 1st until December 8th from 1:30 until 4:30 p.m. with guides in 18th century garb located around the grounds to answer questions and to give information. Your tour will begin in a reproduction bank barn where displays give information on the movement west. You will also see the Miller Still and learn about the production of whiskey and the importance of it and of the Whiskey Rebellion to this area. Follow the Miller Trail up the path and visit the transportation shed, demonstration shed, forge, a reproduction log house, the original spring house, gardens, and finally end at the stone house. Each month, the guides host at least one special event. The homestead is also a great place for tours, tailored to the needs of school-age children, scout groups, or adults. Visit our website at www.olivermillerhomestead.org for a schedule for the year and much more information on the history of the Miller family, our organization, and pricing information.
BPTV. Come volunteer. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be here.
BPTV. Come on in, make a show. It's still fun after all these years.